be properly introduced at some appropriate moment. And as is the practice of the forces, I hope I'm right, their greeting is to give a decent salute. And where they are standing, Mama, it's a bit dark, you may not see them properly, so I'll request them to come to the open so that you can see them and they can greet you in the way they know best. We have Brigadier General William Bainamugisha, Commandant of the Military Police, who was leading the military police efforts. And through the military police, a lot of sanity has been brought in the security of our examination. He is assisted by Colonel Napoleon Namanya, also the 2IC of the military police. From the police, we had Commissioner of Police Godfrey Mate, who was leading the operation side, and then Assistant Commissioner Bob Kagarora from the CID leading the investigation side. These are the people who did a lot in order to get us where we are. Of course, behind them, there are several people. So thank you very much. I think you can now fall out. Sorry? Mama wants to have a photo moment, and this is something that you will cherish. Thank you very much, Mama, for according them that rare honor. It's not often that you get an opportunity to have a picture moment with the mother of the nation at such close quarters. Mama, I want to thank the examiners who marked the scripts and completed this in good time to enable other processes to take place, culminating in the release of these results today. And Mama, in a very special way, to appreciate the staff of the UNEB Secretariat. These people have always risen to the occasion to serve their country with hard work and dedication. And this has been more so as the board had to administer 4 examinations in the same season and grapple with the novel activities in preparation for implementing the new lower secondary curriculum. May God bless them. Mama, selfishly, if they were allowed, is it possible to give the same opportunity to these gallant sons and daughters of the nation? Director, please lead your team for this rare opportunity with the Honorable Minister. I believe I will have my own photo moment. I come. You go. Thank you, Mama, for acquiescing to my selfish request. That photograph will find pride of place in our offices and in our houses. The media, Mama, played an outstanding role in giving prominence to examination activities right from the time we were registering, launching the timetable, and announcing the start of the examinations. They also gave outstanding prominence to examination activities, rather exposing examination malpractice. Mama, the picture of suspects, those pictures that appeared in the electronic and the print media, played quite some roles in deterring others. I salute the media. And I also congratulate all the candidates who have passed, the teachers who prepared them, and the parents, the guardians for their support. Finally, Mama, I wish to thank the institutions that allowed UNEP to use their premises and facilities to mark the 2014 P.L.E, despite the fact that schools always have a lot of other activities during the holidays. Collection of results. Mama, as soon as you release these results, they will be uploaded on the examination center portals so that each school can download their results. However, the district, municipal, and city inspectors of schools who may wish, as they usually do, to collect hard copies of these results, we advise them to visit the UNEP offices in Ntinda from Monday, 27th January 2025. Right now, we do not have any copies available. Those that are interested can access the results on the SMS, as we have always given the direction. You go to the message menu, type P.L.E and leave a space, and put the full index number of the candidate and send to 6600. A lot of times people waste their money. They do not type the index numbers correctly, and they don't get the results, and they think the results are not on. I urge centers to study these results and submit any queries on name spellings, date of birth, or any other error that they think they can detect to UNEP within 2 weeks from the date of release, so that these corrections can be done and the result slips printed in good time. Mama, I also like to warn heads of centers against giving false results. It's becoming a habit. Last year we had a school, the head teacher gave every candidate end of their recommendations with very good grades, and parents went ahead to use these grades to access admission to secondary schools, only to find at the end that these grades were false grades. Mama, I conclude by praying that may God bless His Excellency the President. Mama, may God bless you. May God bless the Ministry of Education and Sports. May God bless the Uganda National Examinations Board. Bless our Parliament, and may God bless our motherland, Uganda. Mama, with these few words, I want to thank you for listening to me, and I wish to submit. Thank you.
I think we all agree that UNEP has done a good job. Can we give them a mighty asante sana? Let us warm. Asante sana. Ongeza tena. Ya mwisho sasa. Thank Thank you very much. Mama, with your permission, may I request the chairperson, UNEB, the ED UNEB, to present to you the examination results book, and they will be accompanied by the PS, the Honorable Minister, and the members of Parliament present. Thank you very much, UNEB. I will request Honorable Kaduchu to officially invite Mama to give her address.
Mama, our First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports. Mama, permit me to respectfully observe the protocol that has been set before. On behalf of the Ministry of Education and Sports and the entire education and sports family, permit me, Mama, to congratulate you and salute you as the head of this sector for this milestone we are celebrating today. We do not take this achievement for granted. Your visionary leadership and the strategic directives in this sector has made it possible for UNEB team and all stakeholders to work hard to achieve these results and to maintain the standards. Mama, this is a true manifestation of your dedication to secure the future for our children in Uganda. May God give you more wisdom and bless you as you continue to provide strategic directives for this sector. The Bible tells us from the book of James, chapter 1, verse 17, and I quote, "Every good gift comes from God, and every perfect gift is from Him." We are indeed thankful to God for your gift as the mother of the nation and as the Minister of Education and Sports. We will forever remain grateful to you for building a solid principles based on Christian values and integrity, team spirit, work ethics, transparency and accountability that has enabled this ministry to perform and to shine. We are thankful to you equally for cultivating policies, cultures, and principles that uphold good morals in our schools, policies that favor excellent academics, religion, and cultural formation in our schools, which in turn nurtures children to be God-fearing citizens for this country in future. Mama, permit me to register our sincere appreciation to His Excellency, our President, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for his massive contribution towards peace and stability in this country, which has provided conducive environment for examination transportation, for examination supervision, far and near, day and night, without disruption. We are grateful to the President. We are equally grateful to the President for the various initiatives under his leadership, especially the strategy of universal primary education with the agenda of leaving no child behind. As you release the P.L.E 2024 results today, it's important for the public to note that 65.7% of the candidates who registered for P.L.E 2024 were universal primary education beneficiaries. We are very thankful for that percentage. And for that matter, no one can deny the fact that our primary universal education system has produced some of the best brains that has made our country to walk tall, both academically and in the world of work, regionally and globally. The literacy level in Uganda has equally risen. It has drastically increased from way back 43% to the current level of 74%. This is due to the strategy of primary universal education. Mama, indeed, UPE has significant impact at household level. It is the backbone of our country's socioeconomic well-being. UPE has tremendously bridged the gender parity. To date, girls constitute 52.5% of candidates registered for P.L.E 2024, compared to 45% girls registering for P.L.E way back before the advent of UPE. Mama, with your permission, I wish to assure our parents that government has enough capacity to accommodate all the candidates who have passed P.L.E 2024 examination. I therefore appeal to all our parents and all stakeholders to ensure that all our learners transit to secondary education and technical vocational education so as to complete their basic education cycle, which is a very critical necessity for their survival, and also it benefits our country's development and growth agenda. For those who do not make it as to the expectation, there is always room to repeat and get better grades. Lastly, as I conclude, Mama, through you, I wish to congratulate and thank UNEP team under the able leadership of the chairperson, Professor Bua, and the Executive Director, Mr. Dan, and the entire team of Ministry of Education and Sports Delegation, members of Parliament, for ensuring that the integrity and credibility of our P.L.E examination is maintained and it remains high by taking appropriate actions for those found guilty in examination malpractice. I thank you so much for listening. Long live Mama Janet, long live His Excellency, our President, and long live our country, Uganda. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my singular honor and duty to invite Mama, our First Lady, our Minister of Education and Sport, to address the nation and officially release the 2024 P.L.E results. Ladies and gentlemen, let's rise up and put our hands together to welcome our mama as she comes to address the nation for God and my country.
Thank you, Honorable Kaduchu. Please sit down. My colleagues, the Honorable Ministers of State, represented here by Honorable Kaduchu, the Chairperson and members of the Education and Sports Committee of Parliament, represented by 2 members of Parliament right here, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Education and Sports, and your team, the Chairperson and members of the Board of UNEB, the Executive Director, UNEB, and your team, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all and Happy New Year. I wish to first of all thank God for the gift of life for all of us here and throughout our country. By His grace, we have completed the 2024 school calendar activities that have culminated in the release of the 2024 primary living examination results today. As you all know, this is the first in a series of the end of cycle UNEB examination results, released annually in the basic and secondary level of education right here in Kampala. We praise God for the good weather during the examination days, since we know that we normally experience very heavy rainfall in November. The fact that God held back the rains so that our children could take the examinations without having to deal with the challenges of going to school in bad weather, it is testimony that our God is indeed a faithful God. Similarly, yes, I think He deserves a clap. Similarly, I recall that in 2023, UNEB informed us that the P.L.E was not interrupted by the weather in most parts of the country in 2023, despite the fact that it was a rainy season. This is not a mere coincidence, and I want to thank God again for that also. Now, with regard to UNEB's undertaking in 2024, we were all aware that the year would be quite unusual, as it would involve holding another UCE examination for those learners who had previously used the old lower secondary curriculum and were repeating UCE to see if they could improve on their previous performance. In addition to that, 2024 was the year that we conducted the first UCE examinations for the pioneer cohort of the revised lower secondary curriculum. So, I want to thank God and thank UNEB for a successful end of cycle examinations and the season, as evidenced by what we have heard from the statement of release of the 2024 P.L.E results. I must also say that I'm pleased with the theme. The theme, as you heard from Mr. Odong, in quotes, embracing security and holistic assessment of learners in a dynamic environment, unquote. That UNEB chose, that's the theme that UNEB chose for this examination season. The security of our examinations at all stages of development and administration is extremely important to guarantee results that are credible. It gives an assurance to us as a country and beyond that our certificates are a result of a valid and reliable process, hence enhancing their acceptability. This theme also underscores the holistic assessment of the candidate. Furthermore, as you have heard from the Executive Secretary's statement, for the first time, UNEB looked at whether the learners had attained mastery of knowledge and skills in the subjects they studied. Assessing for the mastery of knowledge and skills is a very commendable direction that UNEB has introduced to help us make meaning out of the aggregates and grades that we have been seeing our learners attain every time we get these results. Measuring mastery of knowledge and skills provides a better appreciation of the extent to which the learner has been able to gain in-depth knowledge in the given subject, how to apply the knowledge and analyze information in order to solve problems in environments that they are familiar with and in new situations as well. Therefore, I encourage UNEB to provide teachers with additional guidance and training so that they gain a better understanding and appreciation of the assessment of mastery of knowledge and skills, and how they can use this approach to tailor individual attention to learners who may be struggling in one or more areas. It is good to note now that our universal education policy has enabled more children to attend school, as seen from the significant increase in candidature and decrease in dropout or absenteeism. That is now at only 1.3%, as we heard from Mr. Odong. As you have heard in the statement of his release, this trend has been on a steady decline over the last 5 years, from a high of 1.8% in 2019. Nonetheless, I want to call upon head teachers and school management committees to pay attention to the problem of learner dropout, especially those that have registered for P.L.E. We must look into this issue and understand why a learner who has registered to sit P.L.E. does not show up to sit these exams, even though it's on the decrease. But it's better we look out into this and know what makes these learners drop out at the last minute. So I'm pleased that during yesterday's briefing on the release of these results, the PS of the Ministry of Education and Sports committed to comprehensively look into the list of the local governments and schools from which the 1.3% dropped out, or the dropout occurred, so that we can at least know going forward what the problems are. I think all of us here and those listening to us through the various media channels appreciate that any school dropout is an undesirable state, and there are those issues that the government needs to address to eliminate school dropouts, but there are others that we may not know yet. However, let us all remember that each learner comes from a family. So we should also look into the ways of strengthening the family to play its role and obligations to ensure that every child who joins Primary 1 not only completes Primary 7, but also progresses to and completes lower secondary education at the very minimum. We need caring and empowering families to support learners by reinforcing the learning attained in school. Otherwise, the expectation that schools or the education system should shoulder the entire responsibility of learning and grooming children is not only unrealistic, but it's also wrong. And we must really talk to the parents and mobilize our communities to know the major role they have in the learning of their children. Now, coming back to today's results, I want to appreciate the work done by the Uganda Prison Service in offering education services to the inmates. This has been happening at Ruzira, we know now, for some years, but UNEP has extended the opportunity to inmates at Mbarara prisons as well. This is commendable because the time an inmate spends in prison should also be used for education, which is an important aspect of the process of personal transformation and character correction, so to speak. I applaud the efforts UNEB, the Ministry of Education and Sports, as well as all the other stakeholders have put into increasing access to education opportunities for children with special education needs. Not only has the enrollment of this category of learners been increasing, but as you have heard, more of them are also sitting for the end of the cycle examination at primary 7 level. As was stated by UNEP, the 2024 P.L.E performance was overall better than the previous cycle, even though the proportion of learners that got Division 1 reduced. The encouragement I have for all those that passed P.L.E is that there are various opportunities for post-primary education in secondary schools as well as technical education. And to those learners whose P.L.E results have not met their expectations, I encourage you, I encourage your families to persevere and give P.L.E another try. As I stated before, last year, learners repeating P7 in UPE schools are still eligible to benefit from the capitation grant. So nonetheless, for parents who may want to consider a career in technical education for their children, I want to encourage and motivate them to aspire to complete at least O level. As I said before, this is because lower secondary education is vital in getting learners grounded in basic knowledge of the natural sciences such as physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics, and other earth sciences that are vital as foundational knowledge, especially in technical education. So please do not limit your children's aspirations to merely completing primary 7. I am glad now that the items that UNEB is using in the examination papers are addressing the use of knowledge and skills in solving our everyday problems. Just as I mentioned earlier about the mastery of knowledge and skills, this is the thrust of our education, to produce citizens who have skills and competencies necessary to solve the human problems as a nation. Teachers must take heed of UNEB's findings from the work of candidates and go back to the basics of teaching holistically. I am pleased to hear that the local government officials worked closely with UNEB in the safe distribution of examination papers to sitting centers, with no incidents reported. However, it is unfortunate to learn that some school directors and their head teachers provided direct assistance to the candidates in the examination room. In such cases, we shall let the law take its course and thereafter subject those found guilty to the appropriate disciplinary process of the teaching service. It is unfortunate to hear incidences like that still happening in our schools. I express my sincere appreciation to all the government agencies including the security forces, the judiciary, and other stakeholders that play a critical role in ensuring that the government delivers quality end-of-cycle examinations for their unwavering support and commitment. Thank you once again to UNEB, the board and your secretariat under the leadership of Professor Obua and Mr. Odong for presiding over a successful 2024 P.L.E examination season. May God bless you, really bless you. Allow me now to thank the parents and guardians that supported all our children whose results are being released today. Thank you for all the sacrifices you make for the education and well-being of your children. My gratitude also goes to the teachers and staff in all our schools who do a great job in the learning experience of these young people. Well done to all of you. Lastly, I call upon the general public and especially families that have children that shall be reporting back to school for the new academic year to take the necessary precautions against the monkeypox disease. All of us have heard about that. The Ministry of Education and Sports, working together with the Ministry of Health, issued guidelines to schools on how to manage and respond to the mpox outbreak. Therefore, I urge all heads of the education institutions of learning to keenly follow the periodic updates released by the Ministry of Health and guide your staff, learners, and parents appropriately. Finally, I'd like to inform the public that the selection exercise for Senior 1 will take place on the 30th and 31st of January 2025. The Ministry of Education and Sports will communicate the further details. We expect first term for the Senior 1 cohort of 2025 to commence on the 17th of February 2025. It is now my singular honor and pleasure to release the 2024 primary living examination results for the public use. I thank you all. As once again, here we are, 2024 P.L.E results. God bless you all and God bless Uganda.
Thank you, Mama. The usual practice during the release of exams, we usually have a summary of your address in Luganda, and that job is ably played by Honorable Muyingo. Unfortunately, today he's not here with us. We are going to, with your permission, I would like to request Dr. Cleophas Mugenyi, who has a better mastery of the Luganda language amongst us here, to give us a brief summary.
Neyanziza mukulu wa program w'omukolo gw'olwaleero, basebo ne bannyabo, olwaleero nga 23 January, First Lady ate Minisita w'enjigiriza n'emizannyo afulumizza ebyava mu bibuuzo by'abaana abaatuula ekibiina ky'omusanvu omwaka oguwedde. Ng'ayogera eri eggwanga abaagaliza omwaka omulungi, ate n'ayebaza Katonda olw'ekirabo ky'obulamu ekiyambye okulaba nti omwaka twagumalako bulungi nga gubadde omwaka ogulimu ebyokukola bingi naddala ebibuuzo by'abaana ab'essiniya ey'okuna eby'emirundi 2 naddala abaatuula ebibuuzo mu kalikulamu empya. Ebibuuzo ebifulumye olwaleero biraga nti poroguramu ya bonna basome Universal Primary Education eyambye nnyo abaana b'eggwanga lino okusoma mu masomero gaffe nga bwe tulabye nti omuwendo ogw'abaana abaatuula ebibuuzo bino gweyongedde tugasseeko abaana abawera kumpi 5,000. Ate n'atutegeeza nti okulaba nti poroguramu eno ekola bulungi omuwendo gw'abaana abeewandiisa nga tebasobola kukola bibuuzo gugenze gukendeera okuva ku butundu kamu 1.8 mu 2019 kaakati gutuuse ku 1.3 mu mwaka guno ogw'2024. Asabye bakulu b'amasomero abazadde n'abalala bonna abakola ku byenjigiriza okwebuuza ensonga lwaki abaana beewandiisa ate ne batasobola okutuula ebibuuzo n'okulaba nti tunoonyereza tulabe kiki ekisobola okukolebwa. Abadde musanyufu nti omuwandiisi w'enkalakkalira obw'eminisitule y'enjigiriza n'emizannyo agenda kunoonyereza alabe disitulikiti ezisinze okukola bubi mu kulaba nti abaana bayeewandiisa ate batasobola okukola ebibuuzo bino. Akinyonyodde bulungi nti amaka gwe musingi gw'eggwanga wiyirimiridde, n'olwekyo n'asaba abazadde okulaba nti abaana bwe bagenda mu masomero nga batandise ekibiina ekisooka basobole okulaba nti bamala ekyomusanvu. Bwe bamala ekyomusanvu beeyongereyo basome siniya n'amadaala amalala okutuusa bamaliza emisomo gyabwe. Asabye abazadde okulaba nti batuukiriza obuvunaanyizibwa bwabwe, baleme okulowooza nti gavumenti n'ebitongole ebirala bye bigenda okubayamba. Asiimye nnyo ekitongole eky'amakomera Uganda Prison Service okulaba nti luli abaana abasibe babadde batuula ebibuuzo bino luzira, naye kaakati na ku kkomera ly'Embalala nabo batudde ebibuuzo bino. N'akinoganya nti kikulu nnyo abasibe bano okubawa omugisa okusoma kubanga bamala obudde bungi mu makomera, ate kino kibayamba okukyusa obulamu bwabwe. Yeebazizza nnyo nti abaana abaliko obulemu ku mibiri gyabwe omuwendo gwabwe gugenze gweyongera, naddala abo abatasobola okuwulira obulungi. Asabye abazadde okulaba nti abaana bonna abayise ebibuuzo bino bagenda ne basoma secondary ne technical, ate n'asaba abo abatasobodde okubiyita okuddayo ku ssomero. N'agamba nti tewali kusasula ssente ku baana bano baba bazzeemu ekibiina ky'omusanvu nga basomera wansi wa poroguramu ya UPE. Yenyamidde nnyo kubabba ebibuuzo era n'abalabula nti kino si kirungi era amateeka agenda kubakolako nga bugalagira. Yeebazizza nnyo boodi ya UNEB, abazadde, abasomesa, ekitongole ky'ebyenjigiriza, abayizi n'abantu bonna abakoze kyonna ekisoboka okulaba nti ebibuuzo bino byali birungi ate tubifulumizza olwaleero. Ng'annyonnyola ku kutandika ttaamu ejja esooka ku mwaka guno, waliwo ekirwadde kya mpox. Yakinoganyizza nti Ministry ekwatana n'ebyobulamu yafulumya guidelines ezirina okugobererwa, n'olwekyo n'asaba abazadde n'abakulu b'amasomero okugoberera guidelines zino okulaba nti obulwadde buno tibutawaanya masomero. Agambye nti selection abaana abagenda mu siniya esooka ejja kubaawo nga 31 January 2025, ate taamu esooka ejja kutandika nga 17 February 2025. Mwebale nnyo bassebo ne bannyabo.
I think we all agree that he has done a good job. Yeah, we can give him 80%. There was some pronunciation of Vunyoro in there, but he has done a good job. May we all rise up for the anthems in reverse order. Okay, before we depart, 2 announcements. We are going to have a Q&A session with our media team in the waiting area where we first converged before we came here. And then lastly, our mama